Taong 1996. Nang pinukaw ni Marimar ang puso ng sambayanang Pilipino. Nang pinilahan sa takilya ang Do-Re-Mi nina Donna, Regine at Mikey. Nang paulit-ulit sinayaw ang Macarena maging nina Lolo at Lola. At nang sa PBA ay walang pumantay sa isang koponan. Taong 1996. Ang taong tunay ngang
walang tatalo, wala pa rin tatalo sa Alaska.
Yep. Here on 2OT, we're throwing it back to 1996 as we have collected the Alaska Milkmen, the Grand Slam winning team of that era. Welcome to another Facebook Live reunion here on 2OT. My name is Carlo Pamintuan with Marco John, now joined by the Alaska Milkmen. Let's start around the room. Say hi to everyone. Sir Poch Juinio, Sir Jun Reyes, Coach Jeffrey Cariaso, Docson, and Sir Jojo Lastimosa, and Sean Chambers. How are all of you guys doing? Let's start with Sean Chambers. How have you been, sir? Throughout
the oldest. Start with the oldest.
we'll start with the best looking one. That's what we'll do. The Mr.
Waffle.
I'm doing well, man. Here, we're locked down here in Sacramento, California. But we're managing it well. We're all in the house. The family's good. Mom's good. We're just kind of going through the process like everybody else, kind of wait and see. But I can't tell you. Oh, look at Mr. Dickie Backmann joining us right now.
Nice shirt, Sean.
Thank you.
Nice shirt.
But
nice shirt, Sean.
Gave me an opportunity to go back and start looking at some of the old videos and how much these guys mean to me. It's still after all these years. So it's kind of great to kind of reconnect, even via Zoom.
Can you get me yung Alaska na hat?
You can't change now, Joe. You can't change now.
You didn't plan ahead, bro, Joe. Come on, you should have planned ahead.
It's kind of hard to there.
I was gonna wear long sleeves.
And a tie.
I don't have a single Alaska shirt. Can you send me one, Jeff?
Of course, I got you, Jun.
Thanks.
I got you. No problem.
How have you been throughout this lockdown period?
Good.
Coach Jolas, how have you been?
You're asking me?
That's his spot outside. Outside his house.
I actually developed a routine already. It's been almost 2 months, right? So once I wake up, I clean the house from back to front. Then I learn how to cook, man. Believe it or not, it's crazy. And we have no helpers, so we do everything. So hugas ng plato, clean the dishes. Bunchik will wash the clothes. I never wash clothes though.
What's your specialty dish now, Coach Jolas?
No specialty, but I cooked.
It's gotta be seafood.
And, I cooked.
It changed.
Ampalaya. Sean, ginisang ampalaya?
Oh, sempre pare.
Coach Joe, if you can just tilt the camera a little bit, we want to see more of your face.
He's hiding.
Can't hear you guys.
We can't see
There
you.
you go. We can't see you, Joe.
Master Gus!
Morning, good morning, guys.
Gus,
Morning,
how
guys.
are you, buddy?
Coach.
It's really bright.
What's up, Gus?
Yeah. Morning. Asian. Oh, I see.
Right.
And now I think we have another member of the team about to join us.
I think it's Merwin, right?
It's actually
This might be
He's
Bong.
coming to boss days.
Bong Hawkins.
Let's go, Bong. Here he is.
Nagising na maaga yan.
Bong Hawk! I miss you!
May beer ka bang dala niyo after walk yan?
What are you doing, Bong?
Yeah, man.
Bong
really,
Hawkins.
really good to see
COVID-19.
everyone.
Mahina yung audio ah.
I was
Nga lang pandinig natin. Lapit ka lang na konti.
in planning this reunion, I was really thinking of how to discuss it properly. So let's start from the first championship of the Alaska Aces. There were only a handful of you guys that were there. So let's set it up with Mr. Jojo Lastimosa and Sean Chambers. From winning the 1991 third conference, were you hopeful that Alaska will get even more championships coming in the next few years?
Go ahead, Joel.
After 91, I was thinking we're gonna win a lot more championships because that team, we only had Bong, and Bong was shot in the butt, right? So, and then the rest of the guys were getting old already, like sila Frankie, Lim, sila Biboy Ravanes. Who else was there, Sean?
We had Biboy Ravanes, but we did have Rick Murata, and we have Boy Cabajo.
No,
Cabajo
wasn't there.
Oh no, we had Frankie, B-Boy.
You think Kilban was there?
My bad. Yeah, we had Bobby Jose. We had Dondo Polistico. And Alex Aranda.
Was it Harmon Cordillera?
Yeah, Peter Aguilar.
Harmon Cordillera. Come on, Joe.
Yeah,
Hey, Coach Tim, good morning.
Hey, fellas.
Hi, Coach Tim.
Hey,
Hey, Tim can speak up more. Hey, Tim.
how are you?
Good
Morning,
I hear Sean's voice. I don't see Sean's face.
Oh, there you go, Tim.
Tim would remember.
Dark.
Morning, coach.
Yeah,
What?
Tim would remember.
How come Sean's on?
I'm in here.
I don't see you.
You can't see Sean?
Click on your video.
I don't know. But,
I've got
extend
9
your video.
pictures. Are we more than 9?
Oh, maybe you're
Swipe
using
up,
Way
swipe
more.
left.
Hi, Tim.
Swipe left or swipe right.
You have to
Are you
swipe
using your
forward.
phone?
Swipe left. I'm the first one,
There you
of course.
are.
Come on, Tim.
There you are. Hey, bud.
I'll finish up with the
Who is
91
this?
championship, but it was like we were kind of just starting. Tim was really kind of put in the system where we were kind of dictating.
We had
tempo
traded
and things like
Yo-Yo.
that.
I heard you earlier. We had traded Yo-Yo for Alex. The first round
Right.
pick. We traded him for Elmer Reyes. We traded
Right.
Yo-Yo for Elmer Reyes, and then traded Elmer Reyes for the #1 pick in the draft and got Alex. That was right after the third conference with you and Carlos.
Right.
So we made a lot of changes to that team. We only had I just researched this. I only had 7 guys coming back from the previous year. We had 5, 6 new guys, something like that, and going into the All Filipino. And that's when Jojo came. We got Jojo because of through Elmer, and then Yo-Yo was traded. Alex came in, and it was more like, I think it was Nandy Garcia.
Yeah. Nandy Garcia, yeah.
Peter, Rick was gone. Bong was
Bobby
injured.
Jose.
Remember, Bong was injured with the Achilles. He
Yes.
didn't play the whole year until you came, Sean, in the third conference. That was 1991.
Yeah.
We had a bad All Filipino because we had struggled. Everybody was saying what happened to us. We made so many changes.
And in 1992,
It was Jojo and the 11 Little Indians. That's what it was. There was somebody in the press called us the Jojo and the 11 Little Indians.
But Tim, Carlo was asking whether after winning the 91 championship that we kind of thinking that we might win more championships. After that 91, you actually changed the lineup. And I remember after winning that third conference, there was a lot of bickering about the bonuses coming from the vets. And
And
Oh, there was always bickering about the bonuses. Always, every year we had bickering about the bonuses. But I mean, that was just part of who we were.
We
Careful.
just won, but now you're talking about bonuses.
What can I say?
Joe.
There's how many guys are still associated with? There's Gus and Jeff and Dickie. The rest of us are no longer there, right? Sean. So I know. I mean, that was just it was basically bonuses happened for everybody. You know, I mean, it was a bickering for everybody. I mean, every team bickers over bonuses. But I don't think that was the reason we didn't do well in 92. That was after the championship. We traded
the guys saying we're gone.
We traded Bong for Bong eventually, and we got Johnny in the draft. And then the following year we got Poch, and then the following year after that we got Jeff, and that's how we built the team through the years. We got Poch and Merwin and Dickie, right?
Yeah,
Were you in that draft, Dickie?
With Johnny.
Yeah.
No, you were in the Johnny
and
draft. Johnny and John. Johnny and John
Cardell.
Cardell.
Coach, in 1992, you traded for Jun Reyes, and we would like to say hi to Sir Jun. And can you just walk us through, moving from Pepsi to the Alaska squad? How did it feel back then?
That was actually Alaska's best move ever. That was the start, the key.
Hey, mute.
There he is.
Well, it was my saving grace because all of a sudden Derek Pumaran had different plans. I went from starting point guard of Pepsi to the third guard of Pepsi and never played at all. So my career was going down, and Alaska saved it by trading me to for Eugene Kilban. So that was really
Eugene had won the Rookie of the Year award.
Yeah, Eugene was a Rookie of the Year, and he was traded for a third stringer. So,
well,
then
there were other management issues that were going on at that time also with Eugene. So that's one of the reasons we were trading him, and June was one of our targets, and everybody thought it was going to be a bad. Sorry, June. Everybody thought at that time it was going to be a bad trade. Why are you trading Eugene Rookie of the Year?
Exactly, right?
Yeah, and June ended up doing. I mean, he was the absolute. Is Johnny not here?
Johnny's not here, Coach.
Not yet.
Trying to follow you.
Johnny, he was absolutely the absolute perfect backup to Johnny that you could possibly have because of his temperament and his ability to sacrifice and desire to sacrifice. And he was a tremendous leader off the bench. And people won't remember. And again, I've just been researching this lately, but people don't remember all the big moments June had during the Grand Slam year. Huge, absolutely huge moments.
I'm gonna cry
It never
now.
would have happened if he hadn't been there.
That's not what I remembered. That's not what I remembered.
Joe,
Remember the overtime, June? Remember when Johnny fouled out? You know,
Yeah.
and that was Jeffrey's 2 free throws.
Yeah.
You won. Without June in that game at that time, you never would have won it.
I actually just saw that in Facebook. They showed it, the whole game.
And not only that, I remember one game Johnny was injured and you played 48 minutes. You remember that? I didn't take you out. I kept telling you, sorry, June. I can't take you out at this point. You played the full 48 minutes. I don't know if you remember that, but I remember that. You played the full 48 minutes of the game.
I don't remember it. There was no impact.
You just don't see it.
There's so much chemistry between ex-Ateneo players, you can tell. Great chemistry.
On now to 1993, the Alaska Aces added the Flying A, Johnny Abarientos, John Adel Cardell with the 6th pick, and Boss Dickie Backmann with the 8th pick. They also traded for Mr. Bong Hawkins in exchange for Bong Alvarez. And Sir Jojo Lastimosa, correct me if I'm wrong, but you told me that you vouch for Bong Hawkins. You hope that Coach Tim Cohn would trade for Bong Hawkins back then. Can you run us through why?
Tim actually approached me about Bong being available, and honestly, Bong had a bit of a reputation before, and we were talking about that. I said, forget about his reputation. I couldn't score against Bong when he was with Santa Lucia. I said, get him. So there's been one less guy to stop me. So he's going to be on our team. So I think that was an easy decision.
Merwin Castelo.
Merwin. Merwin.
Mer. Where's Mer?
Hey, Merwin.
What happened to him?
Merwin.
This is getting my screen is so
Canadian time.
Mer.
But I can go back. I remember that trade picking up Bong Hawkins, and I remember Bong playing with Santa Lucia, and I kept like playing against me. I was like, this guy's good, but I can't figure out why he's good.
There you
He
go.
doesn't jump. He doesn't run. He doesn't get off the ground. Not very athletic. But when we played against him, I could not figure out why he was so talented what he did. So when we picked him up, I thought it was just an amazing pickup for Alaska.
So, Bong, can you run us through that? Nung na-trade kayo from Santa Lucia to Alaska. How excited were you to join the Alaska Milkmen?
I'm so excited because I want to get out of Santa Lucia. That's the third conference, right? Third conference of 92. Well, yeah, it's a fresh start for me for our new team.
Jimmy Mariano was your coach at that time? Was it Jimmy?
No, it was Nat Canton.
Nat
Canton. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He had taken over for Jimmy then. That's right.
Yeah, you remember? They didn't even tell me that I was traded. I just learned it from Coach Arik who called me. I remember that. And
Coach Arik called you
that morning, and then nobody told me that I was traded na pala. And then Coach Arik told me na, I come here to practice. I didn't know. I just came from practice. Nobody told me.
But Coach Tim, how big an addition was Bong Hawkins to the squad then? What did he contribute to the squad?
I think that everybody can talk on that. I mean, we all know Bong missed out on a couple of MVPs. He should have been a couple of MVPs in the league. And the thing is that we all knew how much Bong meant to us. I always said that of the group, I said, Johnny was, truly our best player. He was just, the most gifted, player. Jojo was our unquestioned leader and fourth quarter man. But for me, Bong was always what I called our MIP, our most irreplaceable player. We could not play without Bong. We couldn't find a guy that could come in and do all the things that Bong could do, so he was our most irreplaceable player. We could, Jun could come in and help out and do some of the things Johnny did. Some of the off guards could help out with Joe, but all the things that Bong did for us. I mean, the rebounding, the passing, the shooting, the post up, and most importantly, was the defense. He was the only guy in the league, in my opinion, who could guard Alvin Patrimonio one-on-one and hold his own. Nobody else could do that. And he could do that to imports as well. And people like Sean was saying earlier, you wonder how in the hell he could be that good. We all knew how good he was. And to me, even though people know how good he is, I still think he's probably the greatest, most underrated player in the PBA in history. I really think he's probably the most underrated player that's ever played.
Agree, 100%.
1994 Alaska. The Poch Juinio and Merwin Castelo with the 5th and 6th picks. Chris Bolado, of course, 13th pick in that draft. Sir Poch joining the Alaska franchise as a rookie. Pagdating nyo dun sa team, what was it like?
Of course, una parang overwhelmed ako with all the stars around me.
yung pinapanood ko nung araw, kasama ko na ngayon, di ba? Sila Jolas, sila Bong, sila Sean. I was overwhelmed, pero of course, I want to be at par with them sa laro on how I can contribute. Parang ganon. Slowly and with the guidance of Coach Tim, of course. And of course, Bong's parang always pushing me and other guys pushing me to be better. Yun lang. Talagang overwhelmed lang ako sa kasama ko. Siguro I wanted to fit in.
How about you, Sir Merwin? Welcome to the broadcast. Joining the AC back in 1994.
Hi, guys. Hi, Coach.
Hey,
Merwin.
there
How's
you
everyone?
are. I was looking for. I was trying to look through the screens and try to figure out where you were. Great to see you,
Hi,
Merwin.
Bong.
Been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
This was one of my favorite. This guy is one of my favorite draft picks. I love picking him. It was we just saw so much in him. He was my Scottie Pippen. I was looking for a Scottie Pippen. I got my Scottie Pippen and Merwin.
No.
Scottie Apping.
Yeah, they call me that because I love to talk to. I mean, I talk too much. That's why. Now, me, it was really a surprise because I'm not really expecting that pick. Actually, my one of my leg is ready to go out from that door. If I'm not gonna be picked. I'm with I forgot his name. I think that's Gaspar with me. And when I got picked, he told me that Merwin, tinawag ka. Huh? Tinawag ka, dinaft ka. Huh? I was really surprised. But it was really a dream come true playing for Alaska. And syempre with the coach team, he's the best coach for me. He's the best coach. He's like
thank you,
better than Phil Jackson. Yeah, and of course playing with all the superstars like Jojo, Bong, and yeah, and syempre is that Jun? Oh, hi Jun. Yeah, Alaska, the best like Alaska team.
So I obviously need to leave this video so you guys can talk truly about me. I told Jojo I wasn't going to get on till later so you could talk freely and say the things you needed to say before I got on.
Yeah,
you're going to be nice to me because my face is on the screen.
Yeah. And coach, let me add it. Let me add si Jeff nga rin pala and syempre the best import Sean Chambers.
Thank you, Merwin. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
1995, you
now we know why Merwin's a politician.
Right?
1995 was the time when you picked Coach Jeffrey Cariaso with the 6th pick overall and Giovanni Pineda with the 8th pick. Coach Jeff, coming from the U.S., joining the Alaska Milkmen, can you run us through that experience of just joining this storied squad?
To be honest, the initial feeling at the time was, man, they had few teams passed on me. So that was not that I was expecting to go so high, but I was like, interesting.
Who was picked ahead of you, Jeff?
Brian Punsalan. Brian
Punsalan by San Miguel. Miguel, yeah.
I remember that.
Because remember they had all the guards there with Atto and Alan still there. So I guess they felt like they didn't need a guard.
Yeah,
so yeah. But joining Alaska, I'm telling you, Carlo, was again a pleasant surprise, and it really just kind of, it made my career. So again, we talk about all the good times, but again, I went in there just trying to be focused every day, trying to be ready, and like everyone else, everyone else here. Poch and Merwin kind of being the young guys also. We just try to do our part in helping out the team, and that was really our goal.
Don't forget that we traded for that draft pick. We traded Bong Solomon for that draft pick.
Yeah.
The day of the draft. I had talked to Coach Sonny Duarte just before the draft was starting, and we asked for his draft pick. And we traded Bong Solomon, and then Bong ended up having a lot of eye issues after that, and they actually. I remember the team manager. I can't remember who that was at that time, but called and asked if they could have Jeffrey back a year later. A year later, they said, you should give us Jeffrey back. And we said, Fred said, yeah, you forget that. And but they did. They actually called and asked us for him back because they felt that it was an unfair trade.
What do you think, Coach? What was their thinking? Were their thinking behind that? Did they need a big guy? Because I know Bong Solomon played a power forward, right?
Right. They were looking at Bong. They wanted to get a power guy, and we were looking to. But we were looking to make a draft on a guard, and actually, as it turned out, we were, incredibly surprised that you fell into our laps. We had you in top 2 pick, and you fell all the way down to us at 6 or 7. 6, wasn't it?
Yeah, 6, number 6.
6.
Coach, you should have told them no return, no exchange.
Yeah, that's what we did.
I think you screwed Jaworski.
I honestly thought it was I thought there was an opportunity for Bong to go over there and be awesome because he was more of a free-flowing type player, more like a Noli Luxine type player.
Yeah.
And I thought he was going to go over there and be awesome, and he was for about half a conference, and then he had a retina dislocation. He tore his whatever you do with your retina. And his eye, and it became a problem.
Detached.
You remember? Yeah, detached. You remember that, Doc? Soon. Remember he was having problems with his eye before that.
Yeah, he was having problems with us for almost 2 conferences. Yeah.
He was injured.
But when we traded him, he was already fully recovered. He was fit to play.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I thought he was going to be great, and we didn't expect to get Jeff. Honestly, at that pick. We didn't expect to get Jeff, but we ended up getting Jeff. And I think that if they had known Jeff was going to fall to 6, they probably wouldn't have made the trade. But they didn't know. We didn't know.
And with that pick, the formation of the Grand Slam team was finally complete. Doc Sun and Doc Gus, you were there for a lot of it. You were there with this squad. Can you just talk us through how well this team was put together? Did you think that it was going to be really, really special, Doc Gus?
Carlo, good morning.
Morning.
Actually, I'm not a doctor. I'm an athletic trainer. So just to make that clear to everyone, because they always mistake me for a doctor. It's Dr. Soon who's our team doctor.
It's Dr. Soon and Master Gus.
There you go.
Master Gus and Dr. Soon.
Yeah. We because I joined Alaska in 1991, thanks to coach team, and then over the years you can see the build up, and then the pieces coming together, and there were the team was making good trades, so you can see that it's gonna amount to something in the near future. And that's, as history proves it, that's what happened.
How about Doc?
I'd like to take credit for bringing Gus on. I thank you for the credit, Gus, but it was really Chut Reyes. Chut was the one that recommended you because he was with Ateneo and you were at Ateneo at the time. And Chut recommended you and brought you in. I don't know if you ever knew that, but it was really Chut Reyes who brought you. Chut was my assistant at the time.
That's true, Coach. I remember Chut asking me if I wanted to help Bong Alvarez out because he was injured, and I was hesitant at first. Then he said, "You just talk to Coach Tim first and see what will happen." And after talking to you, it's like I can't refuse. I can't refuse it also.
Well, the thing that both Doc and Gus brought to us was the culture, and they were going to look at the players, we're going to look at the coaching staff, but the culture that Doc and Gus brought us, sacrificing themselves, being humble all the time, was a huge contribution to having a team like this, because it's really about the culture. It's really about the culture that the players established and the people around them. So to me, I felt the culture was more responsible for us winning that than anything else. And so you can't discount contributions of Doc and Gus and Mike Braga and the people around him. And of course, Fred Oitensu. He was the one that led the culture.
Doc, just your thoughts on the formation of this squad.
Yeah, actually, the first few years was really very frustrating. I think on the third year, or on the fifth year, we won our first championship. I thought that would be the first step, and it would be fine all the way. But then after the championship, when we traded some of the good players, it was downhill again, and then team started forming his own team, picking up his own players, and that was the slow part. But after that, we still have injuries like I think Bong Hawkins, his Achilles tendon, and then
Sean had a big injury. Remember your injury, Sean?
Yeah, I had my big injury to GRANDSLAM.
And then Sean.
So
I thought we were never out of big injuries every conference. So there was always some major.
Well, I had my big injury in '93.
Yeah.
Where I only played 5 games in '93 because I had that stress fracture.
So there was no conferences that we had no major injuries. Team, you remember?
Yeah.
We always have big problems.
93, that was the year I almost got fired, Sean, because you were injured that conference. We had so many problems bringing guys in and out during the imports, and I was always blaming that one on you.
Yeah, well, that injury is a unique story because if I didn't come back after 5 games, if you recall, I wouldn't have been able to play ever again in the Philippines.
And you also had a 60-point. You had a 60-point game when you came back.
The next game against he never had 63 points. Yeah. But Rodney Monroe came over. He played 1 game out of town. If he would have stayed, I would have never been able to come back to the Philippines ever again.
There was a rule. Right. There was a rule at that time. Once you had changed, you couldn't come back.
So they changed that rule right after that.
Mm-hmm.
But I was lucky. I mean, I was, by the grace of God, I was able to come back and play. Because if Rodney Monroe would have asked to stay and play the next game, I was done. I won't tell you that Jun and I were booing him during the game on the bench, but we were Jun and Dickie Backmann were in the corner booing the guy the whole time. We're in out of town game.
North Carolina State. That was a North Carolina State guy, Rodney Monroe. He came back and played for Shell later on.
Yeah, he was a heck of a player. So, yeah, so then 94 we won the championship, 94, then 95, and then 96. It was go time.
Yeah, he was a good player, but he was just really more of a pure scorer. He didn't do a whole lot else of stuff.
So the first 3 championships of the Alaska franchise were all in import conferences. Come 1996, the All Filipino Cup. Coach Tim, was it a bigger challenge to win the All Filipino come in 1996?
It's always the biggest challenge is winning the All Filipino, in my opinion. You only get one of them every year. So, you get a couple other chances with imports the rest of the year, but you only get one chance at the All Filipino. And at that time, Pure Foods was really strong in the All. I think they made like 6 straight finals appearances in the All Filipino, something like that during the 90s. They were really strong, like San Miguel is now. But yeah, I think always the tough conference is and for us, we were always winning the third conference because of Sean. So we were always tired and worn out mentally and physically going into the first conference of the next year, and kind of with the championship hangover. That year we didn't. Oh no, that year we did. We had won the previous conference. Yeah.
Coach Joe, can you run us through that All Filipino campaign of the Alaska Milkmen?
Hold up. Okay, the story there was, personally, I was really tired of hearing that the only conference we can win is when Sean's there, hearing that over. And so I'm just sick and tired of listening to that. And I thought that 96 All Filipino Championship was the
I think that was my best championship won ever, because it was my first. I've been into a lot of all Filipino championships before with Pure Foods, and we didn't win any. And that was the first time where I thought like we can really win it, and we had a complete lineup. So when we won it, it was some sort of validation that we can win without Sean, or we can win without import. So no disrespect to Sean, but all Filipinos is just different. Tim has always been saying that all Filipino is the ultimate championship conference, because you don't need any help from the outside. So it's just us. So for me, that was great.
And the guy who sealed that championship with a couple of free throws was the rookie Coach Jeffrey Cariaso. Coach, playing in that big stage very early in your career, what was the experience like?
Where did the pass
That
come
was
from? Where did the pass come?
Can I get to that? I was gonna put you in there, but see, you went ahead and spoke. But yeah, that was actually total the first conference of my second year. So my first year was pretty awesome. My first 2 years obviously pretty awesome. But yeah, that was just one of.
I can remind everybody that you came and we went through 8 straight finals appearances. When you came, we were second, first, and when your first year, then we were 1-1-1 your next year. So you went to the finals every year, every conference you were with us.
That's right.
Right.
In that time.
I actually say that often on how lucky I am, Coach, because my first 2 years I was really spoiled. We made the finals 6 straight times. So that's really unheard of and really blessed. But going into that game, Carla, it was really just it was a fight. We saw that opportunity to kind of win one. I think the guys are playing at a high level. I think at that point we were confident. We were together. I think we were fairly disciplined at that point in regards to understanding roles and knowing each other a little bit more, and it kind of came together.
The best player of the conference for that particular All-Filipino Cup was Alvin Patrimonio, and it was Bong Hawkins, as you said, Coach Tim, who was tasked to defend him. Sir Bong, All-Filipino title. What were your best memories dun sa championship na yun?
Morning practice?
2 days.
The morning
2 days?
2 days. No, the 2 days.
They were like kryptonite to Bong Hawkins. Morning practice in 2 days.
Power drills, power.
Yun nga, everybody's talking about nga yung, like Joe said, na Alaska only wins with Sean. So parang ang namin kailangan tayo we have the opportunity to win that championship. I remember I was I think it's game 2 or game 3. I think I was really very physical with those guys. I remember I had a really solid pick to Glenn Capasio. And he's mad. And after that play, he hit me in the face. And he was thrown out. He was suspended for 1 game. And he's a very crucial player for them.
He was.
So, yeah. We ended up...
the Jojo stopper.
Yeah, he says he's a Jojo stopper. So he was really mad. And he hit me in the face. And I acted like I was really... and he was thrown out. And he was suspended the next game. So we ended up, what's the score that? 4-1?
4-1.
Yeah.
4-1.
4-1. So that's really crucial for us because he didn't play that game, and I think we were up 3-1. And it's really crucial for us.
Jun was the one who made that crucial pass to Jeff on the inbound. Again, because Johnny had fouled out. Jun had played down the stretch. He hit the big basket, and then he had the big assist He had the big basket to tie it, and then the big assist to win it.
Actually,
Jeffrey's back door.
Actually, I would have had the winning shot too, but Walton blocked my jump shot.
Yeah, from the
That
corner.
went up.
That's how we got the
Bong
ball out of bounds.
Hawkins, pass from Bong, extra pass from Bong, wide open, and he blocked it. He was like way out, and he got to me and blocked my
June,
shot.
if you remember that play, before that, the basket you did hit, you pump faked. And Olsen was flying, right? And then you stepped in free throw line jumper. Yeah, I was just
that was a big shot.
Imagine one more pump fake, you could have been the game winner.
But I was thinking of you, man. Jeff Stein.
I remember that was overtime when Jeff hit the shot. The regulation, coach was fouled.
Yeah.
At the end of the regulation.
You were fouled, Poch, at the end. He didn't call it.
Didn't call it. That's why it came to overtime.
That went into overtime.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Who fouled you? Was
No,
it Honoren?
you were fouled.
Honorena?
No, you were fouled.
You were fouled. I passed you the ball. We were in a break, and I passed you the ball, and we were fouled. That's why
Poch was fouled big time. Yeah, those are a lot of little. It's so funny that people talk about the Grand Slam, and all these little things have to happen for you to win that Grand Slam. I mean, it's just so many things have to happen. Sean coming back, or you're going to talk about it later, but Sean replacing Derek Hamilton. I mean, all these things had to happen for us to go and win that Grand Slam.
That's the thing, Coach Tim. Just the year before, Sunkist came oh so close to that Grand Slam, but they faltered, got knocked out in the semifinal. How tough was it in that Commissioner's Cup to finally? How tough was it to just compete with everybody?
Well, that was it. That was it. A lot of teams get there, but very, very few finish the job. I mean, there's a lot of teams that have won the first two conferences, and then for some reason, their chemistry, it's just hard to sustain all the way through the whole year. And you saw what happened to San Miguel last year. They had a lot of pressure to try to win that Grand Slam, and they kind of imploded in that third conference. And then that same year, Pop Cola that you're talking about, Pop Cola kind of imploded chemistry-wise in that third conference. They got beat in the quarters, I think, or maybe the quarters. I think they got knocked out. And they had all kinds of issues with their import, and again, it just really people kind of threw out the Grand Slam easily, but everything has to work. And the third conference is the hardest because there's just so much more added pressure. But what made this group special is that pressure didn't affect them because their chemistry was so tight, and we were so comfortable with Sean, coming back. And Sean was like a baby's blanket for us. When he came in, we all hugged that little blanket and took it wherever we could. And so there was such a comfortability with Sean. So they didn't have the normal pressure that other teams went through, having to have an import. And the import doesn't really understand what's going on and how important this is to everybody. And but for Sean knew, and he had already won the second conference for us. So it was kind of a perfect storm for us.
How about the demands physically? Of course, you won the first two already. You played the most games out of every single team.
We actually won the last three. We won the third. We won the third conference of the last of '95, and then the first two conferences of '94. 96, excuse me. So I don't know what you guys feel like physically. We were careful. We didn't kill each other. We knew that was coming up. And didn't we lose our first game in the third conference? And then we won like 13 straight. Or we lost our first two, something like that.
We lost our first
three.
I think it was 4.
We lost our first three. Man, I was that bad of a coach. We won like 13 in a row, right?
And then we won 13 in a row,
The next loss we had was in the finals against Ginebra by 1 point or 2 points when they changed the import.
Correct.
13-0 run. But going back, what happened for me when I took over for Derek, I came back kind of out of shape, and I kind of played my way into shape during that tournament. So when the third conference happened, I was probably in the best physical shape I've ever been in my life. And then once we got over the hangover of winning the championship in that Game 7 against Shell, we then kind of got over that hangover. Then once we got it into a run, we got into a couple of must-win games. And the beauty of these guys and the team and the camaraderie that we had was like, we lost 3 games in a row. We knew we had to win and get on a run. Jojo, Johnny, Bong, Edward, and then the rest of the crew, Jeff, when we got into a point where we needed to win, we were all in sync. And I've been watching some old game films, and it's just amazing how we didn't have to get on each other, but we all knew what we were feeling, and we weren't going to let each other down. And once we were all had to win moments, there was no way you can beat us. I mean, it was just incredible to watch some of those videos I've been watching lately. So then we get into the third conference, we lose the first 3 games, and then it was a 13-0 run after that. Incredible.
But the hard conference for all of us, I think, was the second conference. Trying to beat Shell in that 7-game series. That was that was the one that was really mentally difficult for all of us to try to win that Game 7. And that, remember that Richie Tixon shot in Game 6? And we should have won it in Game 6. We had to turn around and win in Game 7. And we were so heavily favored. That was one of the few conferences or finals that I've been involved in which we were just prohibitive favorites. Everybody were 100% sure we're going to win that. And we played like it in the beginning of that series. We really went down 2-1, and we played like we expected to win this, and Shell was going to lay down.
We didn't expect Shell to be there.
They didn't.
We thought it was going to be in Everett.
Yeah, remember Kenny Redfield hit that half-court shot to win the game, win the the finals. Yeah, we thought we were going to play that.
Shell, we were like, what's going on here? I remember we had one of the games in that series was a score like 74-63.
Yeah, that one. Remember, I was injured in the All-Star game, partial ACL tear.
Yes.
I missed a lot of games. Remember that, Doc Gus?
Yeah.
During the Derek went out, then I missed a lot of games because I came back right the middle of the semifinals.
Gosh, that's one thing I don't remember. I don't remember that so much. I remember obviously your ACL injury, in which you couldn't play with the Centennial team, and that was 98? No, that was 90.
98.
98, right?
98.
You had your ACL injury. I don't remember that injury as much.
I bumped me Nelson Saitono, and he was in my team. And I was really grievous and Nelson is like that. Just like, make his knee like this.
Just going back to the Commissioner's Cup, you replaced your import. Of course, Sean being, the Governor's Cup import was a little smaller than the rest of the field. Sir Poch, was it extra difficult, to play dun sa role mo, going up against, the import, sometimes having to defend them during the Commissioner's Cup?
Well, I've been given naman enough instructions to follow. So, at naman yun, I follow Coach Tim's. You have to do this to the point.
I think Poch had more instructions than anybody else in the history of the PBA. Jojo, Bong,
yeah. You just have to stick with him, deny him.
The only guy who didn't instruct you maybe was Johnny, because Johnny was just too nice for a guy. He wouldn't want to instruct anybody. But everybody was on Poch all the time. I always felt sorry for Poch.
Yeah.
Everybody was telling him how to play a game. He was like, leave me alone.
And Poch, you were also the most improved player of 1996.
Yeah.
Really? What changed? What changed for you?
Well, I got to shoot the ball more, a little more.
From 2 to 3.
I keep telling everyone, first five na ako. I'm one of the first five, but I'm the sixth option in offense. But I'm
Poch was also part of it.
my role to deliver what the coach needs, the team needs.
Poch was part of that three-headed monster. Remember, with you and Chris Balado and Kevin Ramos. And so he had a lot of competition in his position to play early in his career. And then as he grew, then he started to dominate that position. But when he first got him in 94, 95, he was playing as one of those guys. And then in 96, he just took over the position all by himself. He just jumped to a whole new level. And it was all his then.
Poch is perfect for the triangle. He's the best player for the triangle.
Yeah, he was.
Love you, Jun. Love you, Coach.
I mean, his ability to pass off the post was phenomenal. I mean, he was awesome to throw the ball into and move around. And he would use his big hands and wipe the ball around like this. And finally find somebody open.
Yeah.
After winning the Commissioner's Cup, I want to ask some of the veterans of that squad, Sir Jun Reyes or Jojo Lastimosa. After winning the second conference, of course, everyone was gunning for the Grand Slam. Mentally, how much of a challenge was it to stay locked in search for that fourth straight championship? Sir Jun.
Actually, like what Tim said, it was really just the culture. I mean, it was not really very hard for us because it was like already innate in us. Like we already had it. Thanks to the coaching staff, to the trainers. It was just the culture that we were able to build all throughout, not only during that year, but all throughout the years before that. And I think also that aside from the talent and the brilliant coach, the best trainers, I think it's just a sense of family, really, because we really like to be with each other. We like to play with each other, even after being with each other every day. Come vacation time, we still hang out with each other. We go to Boracay, we go to Mimosa, we go to Orchard, we go to Matabungkay. So it's like really a family. So that really carried us through.
Jun, I think all you mentioned is just golfing. Everything in golf.
Yeah.
I think that's only Coach Tim, Joe, and you.
Yes.
June screwed us all up when he left for the States. The coaching staff left for the States, but suddenly we didn't have any more. We played no more golf. We used to have really golf, and it used to be me and Jojo. We were the Angels, and June and Dickie, they were the Devils. We used to pair up against each other. Remember that, Jojo, out of town? June was King Devil at that time.
You know, when we start playing foursomes, right? And the three of us, without you first, we would say, who would want to partner with Tim? I don't want to partner with Tim. But was avoiding you. Dickie and June would avoid you. So I always end up with you.
And gee, all this time I thought you wanted to be with me because we wanted to be one of the Angels and not one of the Devils.
Because you take so much time, playing your shot. They always complain. He just takes 30 seconds to putt.
and when he's ready to putt, Jojo will rev the golf cart.
No.
And Tim will be, God damn it! He's so pissed.
So I'd like to piggyback on what June was talking about. Like, the brotherhood was incredible. Like, after every game for the last few years, we would go out and go eat together all the time. We all go out together, no matter what, win, lose, or draw, we go out to dinner together. And, especially when I was the one buying to treat everybody.
Oh, no, only the one for your birthday.
Oh, you had the import salary. Nobody else did.
Hey, you cannot bring anyone else. No posse here and no juice, just soda. Come on, Sean.
Yeah, you guys will eat. Bong and I will go somewhere else. You guys eat.
Yeah.
Coach Jeff, I read this interview that you had with ESPN5, and you said how mentally challenging it was just to get to that Grand Slam. Can you talk about that, the chase for the straight championship?
Well, when you recall what we did during that year or my first 2 years, remember I was the young guy, so I felt like I had lots of energy, so I was just kind of just taking every day as it comes. So a lot of the responsibility, the true responsibilities weren't on my shoulders because we had veterans to carry it. So I just kind of had to do my part, stay in shape, but when you recall now that I'm coaching, when you recall the mindset that we had, for just that Grand Slam or the first 2 years, it's really something special because think about it. You make the finals, first conference, second conference. Just making it is already, pretty awesome. And then you lose, but then you still have that mindset of trying to get back that third conference. And again, just, the work ethic, the staying together, that culture really did guide us and help us. But then you go into the next year, so you get a taste of winning. So you know how it feels. And again, the added motivation of us not winning an all Filipino also helped. But then you find a way to get to the finals again, and then that just carried on to the second and third conference. But it's not easy. It's tiring mentally, physically. A lot of stars need to align, and that's I think what I said during the interview. And there's a lot of luck that goes into it. You don't say that we didn't work hard or give our best. But again, a lot of things that have to happen, and injuries is also a major factor. So I would think that that Grand Slam year we're pretty healthy, but just the mindset of just each and every day bringing it, and it's really awesome to think about it.
Of course, the success of the Alaska Aces, a lot of it was also because of Coach Tim Cohn's employment of the triangle system. But watching The Last Dance, it was apparent that Michael Jordan initially did not enjoy playing in the triangle. Coach Tim, was it difficult to sell that system to your team in the initial parts of your build?
Well, there's a couple things I learned. Number one, don't teach what you don't know. And I taught what I didn't know early. I learned it by watching video and breaking down video, and that's how I learned the triangle, and that's how I taught the triangle from what I learned. And I wasn't like an assistant coach in a system and watching it and serving and seeing how it was done. I just pretty much did it on my own. So it was an absolute disaster when I first brought it to the team. It was terrible. Fred Oitensu told me he didn't want me to run the triangle anymore at one point, and it was really hard in the beginning. But I think that eventually guys started to buy. I just had a true belief in it, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't teach it. I was so frustrated. I was so upset I couldn't teach it. I'm talking about 92 now, 93, long before we said, why did we struggle after 91? Well, basically, we tried to bring in the triangle in 92 a little bit, a lot like play it in sets, which it doesn't work. And then we tried to do it more full time in 93. And again, I didn't know what I was teaching, and I was just trying to learn it, and they were trying to learn it, and we kind of all learned it together. And it started to come together in 94. Poch was a key piece of that because we had a postman that we could throw the ball into and revolve around, I thought, and that took us to another level. Merwin was a big guard, the kind of big guard that we were looking for, a defensive guard that could help defend for us. And then 95, Jeffrey was the key component. He was that guy that opened up the floor for us. We weren't a running team until he came to the team, and he got us a bunch of easy baskets that we didn't normally get, so that gave us an added weapon. But I think the hardest part was after we won in 97. That was the hardest time, was trying to keep the triangle together because people were just so exhausted from the Grand Slam. We had a disastrous 97 conference, and Jojo told the story recently about how he didn't like the triangle. Not he didn't like the triangle. The story about me asking the team if we still wanted to run the triangle because we had so much fatigue and One thing is the guys will all agree on, I think, that when you run the triangle, you have to be fresh and you have to be alert and you have to be aware. If you don't have those things, the triangle will kill you. And so in 97, I sat them all down. Do you want to still run the triangle? And Joe, to my shock, said, no, I don't want to run it anymore. I was like, whoa. And I thought, uh-oh, if Joe's thinking that, everybody's thinking that. And so we had to kind of get people to buy in. The other thing was hard to do, and Sean was the exception, was when a new import came in, he had to learn the triangle within a few days, and maybe a week, and we had to get buy-in from him. And that's where guys like Bong and all those guys came in and taught the triangle, not just me, but the whole team taught the triangle to the import. Sorry, I'm talking too long. Go ahead. Next.
We won the third conference in 97.
Yeah, we won the third conference in 97. Went to the finals again in 97 in the second conference and lost with Kevin Holland against Ginebra. And then we won, and you came back in the third conference. We won again in 97. But that first conference after the Grand Slam, we were a disaster. We just couldn't get anything going. That all Filipino. We were just totally wiped out.
Yeah, I
we lost Jeffrey, by the way. Jeffrey split and left for Mobiline on an offer sheet.
Yeah,
and,
Jeff.
And June left too. June left and went to Pop Cola. Santa Lucia with his brother Chut. Chut had called and said he wanted to have June. So, we kind of all broke up at that moment. It took us a while to get us back going again. And then we were able to pick up Kenneth Durandis in the middle of the second conference. And that kind of helped us fill the void that Jeffrey left. And then we were able to go back online again. But that 97 conference was a tough one.
Coach Joe?
97 all Filipino.
Reaction about the triangle system?
I hate it.
That story, Tim remembered it, but I always tell him, Tim, I can't really remember it. You asked the whole team about the triangle. I'm sorry, but I couldn't remember. But he said, I can remember it.
So I don't imagine it didn't seem like a big deal to everybody else. I mean, it was just like it wasn't a dramatic moment. It was only a dramatic moment for me. But Jojo in '92, he was very resistant to the triangle.
Yeah, but
he hated
not
the triangle in the beginning because in '92
maybe the 92 and 93 probably I was resistant to it, but not in '97.
Well, in '97 you felt that we had a whole bunch. The reason why you said that, Jojo, is we had a whole bunch of new guys. And we weren't running it well. And nobody knew what they were doing. Dwight was out of position. Boyette Fernandez was out of position. We had made a bunch of changes from that time. And we just weren't running it efficiently. And they were having a hard time picking it up. So I came to the team and said, look, do you think we need to do something more simple? Because we're not getting it done. And I expected everybody to say, well, look, we just came off a Grand Slam. We just won, in the 8 straight finals appearances, of course we're going to run the Grand Slam, aren't we? Why? I mean, the triangle. Why not? And then to turn around and say, no.
Exactly. Why even ask the question? Right? You just won a Grand Slam, and why ask the question?
I wanted a recommitment because I felt we hadn't been committed to it. So I wanted a recommitment to it. And I wanted it to come from you guys, not from me. And obviously it didn't come from you. I had to do it all over again to get a commitment. And Jeff knows what it's like. Jeff coached in Ginebra and had to bring a triangle system to Ginebra and how difficult it is to get everybody to commit at the first point. Same thing we had with Pure Foods, coming over to Pure Foods. It was very, very difficult to get guys to commit, especially James Yap. But just like Jojo, James was used to having plays run for him all the time, having the ball in his hands, doing what he wants to do. It was a terrific adjustment to James. And you got to give James a lot of credit because he never said anything. He never got mad about everything. Jojo had a much stronger personality. We butted heads all the way through his career and my career together. We butted heads all the way through.
So one of the things that made that Alaska squad really a cut above the rest was that you did not make a lot of changes in your lineup. From the 1995 season to the 1996, you only added Kevin Ramas, I believe, just one addition to the squad. Sir Merwin, can I ask, how did it help the chemistry that the players were not going in and out of the lineup. It was just this one squad to take you all the way to the championships.
What's that again? Sorry about that.
Like, how important was it that you did not have a lot of trades, not a lot of changes in the lineup, in terms of your chemistry?
In terms of me in the team.
Yeah, and your chemistry.
Well, it's easy naman kasi sa Alaska. Even when Jeff came, or my exposure is not there anymore. But you know what? Yung team namin, yung chemistry is there already. You go in, or they use you, or they don't use you, or it's just there. It's talagang andun na yung teamwork nung team eh. That's how it's easy sa Alaska.
For Poch, same question. Hindi gumagalaw masyado yung lineup ng Alaska. You kept it same as much as you can. How important was it chemistry-wise?
Of course, malaking bagay yon. Hindi lumalabas, walang bagong pumapasok, walang natuturuan. Yun. Mahalaga talaga yun. It's important talaga for the team to have that parang system imbibed in ourselves. Hindi yung pagpapasok, you have to teach them the system, mga ganon.
I think that was by design. I really do. I think it was by design that we stayed together because the triangle was so difficult. The one thing we always say about the triangle is if one guy's screwing up on the floor, then all 5 guys are screwing up. And so the continuity of learning the triangle and evolving the triangle was so, I think, paramount to our success. And the guys just grew with the offense. I mean, they just grew with the offense. And that's, to me, has always been the beauty of the triangle, is its ability to evolve and get better. There's no ceiling for it. And as long as guys stay together and work, and the same thing was with the Bulls and the Lakers. And Phil Jackson was always really, really big on trying to keep continuity together and keeping the core together.
In addition to that, Coach, actually, Jeff knows, we try to copy your triangle in Mobiline. We try to bring it to Mobiline. But actually, it's just the team didn't respond at all. The players didn't respond at all. So it didn't work well. Unlike in Alaska, everybody really responded to the triangle. It's so nice about the triangle is if defense gives you something, you can go anywhere. There's a lot of options in triangle. And that's how different Alaska is. They do it like fluently in triangle. Remember that, Jeff? We tried it in Mobiline.
Yeah. I'll go back to what.
Who was the coach?
It
Coach
was
Norman, and then Derek.
No, it was
and then Eric.
Right?
From the Toyota. Who's that? No.
Manotok.
Tommy.
Yeah, Tommy. Yeah.
Yeah,
So we had this several.
From Crispa, not Toyota.
Yeah. But yeah.
My quick comment there is
he coached me one conference, Presto. Tommy Manoto coached me one conference before Presto disbanded.
Coach, quick comment on the.
My quick comment is, and Coach Tim said it earlier. If you don't know it, you should know what you're teaching. So we had coaches that didn't understand the triangle. So how could you teach it properly and accordingly? So that was our struggle there. So that's why it didn't work.
Let me just add one more thing. I think that this deserves credit. And, we're talking about bringing the triangle in, but, after 91, when we said we struggled a lot trying to get better at that point, I remember vividly having a meeting with Mr. Itensu, Fredo Itensu, and Waki Trillo. And we were in a room and we were saying, look, this team that we have, even though we won a championship, is not going to be the team that moves us forward. And we're going to have to make changes. And we're going to have some tough times. We're going to have some growing pains. And that was the beauty of Mr. Itensu, Fred. If you could put a plan in place and he could see the plan and he could see where it was going, he had incredible patience, just incredible patience to allow that plan to happen. and you don't really see that a lot, especially in big bosses. But that was the one thing that they really appreciated with Fred. You know, he would stick to it, and he would stick with it, and he would back you up, and he would, you know, go with you all the way. And without that, we never would have made it to 93, 94, 95, and 96. Because those 2 years right there were, in my mind, they were fireable years. And I could have been fired at any moment. And but because we had that plan in place, you know, Fred was able to overlook that. And that led us into our culture and into who we were. So Fred, that deserved, in my mind, a lot of credit back then for that kind of patience from an owner.
Can I add to that too? I'll add to that. So I think, Tim, like if you're watching the Bulls series right now, you had to get buy-in from Joe Loss. And when Joe Loss was being our leader back in '91, it kind of like we took the ball out of Joe's hand, you took the ball out of my hand a little bit more, but we were getting all the shots back in '90 and '91. And then when we went to the triangle, it was like get the ball moving and read and react. You couldn't just dominate the ball. But that '91 champion was one-on-one Jojo, one-on-one Sean, one-on-one
Max Jojo, hand out to the side. That was our Max Jojo. We ran that,
and that's how we won '91
of the time.
I love that play.
Yeah, I know you did.
Yes,
but it was just like the Michael Jordan.
Yeah, we ran that up until like 94, 95. Then we stopped running that play.
We had to take the ball and then we had to include everybody. And then it just opened things up for everybody. But, you know, we were scoring like 30, 40 points a game back then, a piece. So, but we bought in, and so everybody was following.
Yeah. I was just going to say, it's also, it led us to the beauty of the triangle is it gave us a tempo. People talk about the triangle all the time, but I think the thing that made us win at that time was really our defense. I mean, the tempo of the triangle gave us an opportunity to play the defense that we wanted to play game in, game out. And I spoke to Phil Jackson once, and he said, one of the things he said, people know me as a triangle coach, but I was never a triangle coach. He says, I was a defensive coach. I coached defense. That was his thing. That was his thing from the CBA all the way up, was to always be a defensive coach. But the triangle overshadowed everything. And I think that happens to you guys as well. I think the triangle overshadows the fact that you were by far, to me, the best defensive team in the history of PBA. I mean, game in, game out. And that's what won championships for you. And Grand Slam.
Just a quick comment on that. Sir Bong Hawkins, the defense of the Alaska Milkmen back then, how difficult was it? How taxing was it for you to make sure na maganda yung depensa nyo?
Especially taxing for me because most of the time I'm guarding the best scorer in the other team. Pero it's not really about one-on-one defense. We're really good at very good team defense. Defensively as a team, we're really good. It's not just one guy stopping one guy. It's 5 guys stopping one guy. That's our motto. It's not just one guy, one-on-one. There's always somebody to help that guy. That's why we're so good defensively. We can defend half court. We can defend full court. We're so good defensively, and that's why masyadong yung triangle offense. That's why we're winning. But really, I must think it's really the defense that keeps us winning consistently.
Coach Jolas, heading into the third conference, you were gunning for the Grand Slam. What was the feel of the rest of the competition? Did you feel like you had a target on your back in the Governor's Cup?
Oh yeah, definitely. But after winning that second conference with Sean, being the smaller import compared to the other guys, when we won that, I think we had that idea that, hey, if we won this conference with Sean against bigger imports, so how much more our chances going to be like
going up against a similar import, which are smaller. And so I think winning the second conference gave us a little bit more confidence with Sean being there, and then going back into the third conference. And I'm not so sure. I think we met before the season started in the third conference. We were talking about seizing the opportunity because a lot of teams, there were teams before who had a chance of winning a Grand Slam and not getting to it because of lack of focus, because of some other things. And we just wanted to make sure that if everything goes right, this is the players only. I think we met that we need to do our part and take advantage of this opportunity since Sean is coming back, and we have a really big chance of winning the Grand Slam. Nobody wanted to talk about the Grand Slam, I think, beginning the second conference, and nobody wanted to talk about it. But after winning the second conference, it is when we started talking about it that, hey, this is a very realistic opportunity here. So I think credit to the players for coming in together, and looking at that Grand Slam year, we tend to forget how much sila Gus and sila Doc, sila Mike played a key role in this and getting us in shape. It was a time where not all the teams are really preparing the players to be in really good shape. And I remember during those times, sila Gus was so strict about doing your weights before you go up or after you practice, you go lift. And I think it was the time where they always want to go back where we were the easiest team to actually train. And it just shows how focused the guys were, how committed we were. So I think for us, we were just playing, but Gus and Mike and Doc, they were the guys who were preparing us the whole time.
Coach Jeff, at what point in the third conference did you feel like the Grand Slam was, a definite possibility already for you?
We didn't start off well that conference, but when we got on a roll, we just kind of stepped on the gas. Kind of kept on going. To be honest with you, Jojo says that story, but I really don't remember a meeting because that's I think the kind of team we were in my mind. I know we probably spoke about it quickly, but I really don't remember a meeting where we're like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, because I felt like we all knew that already. We all knew inside that this is a rare opportunity, and we all need to be on the same page, and we all need to be ready. So I think that helped us. Even despite the slow start, it helped us get on that roll and that winning streak. And at that point, it was just who's ever on the list, we're just kind of checking them off. So.
I also want to get the perspective coming from Doc and Sir Gus. How difficult was it to make sure that even if there are, aches and pains here and there, that you put out the best team possible, at least physically, during that run, Doc?
Actually, it was more of, on the medical side, it was not really a problem. It was more from the players' side, that they have 100% trust in us. It was easy for me because everything I suggest or I advise them to do, they were always 100%. They were always on board. So when I say you have to do this, we have to give you IVs, we have to put injections, they were always there right away. So it was not very hard for me to convince them that you need this and that. So for me as a doctor, I think it was the trust, the faith and confidence that they have in the medical staff. No, we are only as good as if they will follow us. No. I have everything, we have everything, we can do everything, but if they don't follow us, so it won't do much good too. So I would say it is a mutual trust, which I think that was the only thing that we had that really care. Comparing to the new teams, the present teams now, this is what is lacking. the complete 100% trust and confidence in your support staff.
Sir Gus?
Basta!
I think you're on mute.
Mute, Gus, mute.
Oh,
There you
sorry.
go.
Yeah, from the training standpoint, same thing. No? Yeah, it's true that players are giving us a lot of credit for getting them to shape. But actually, I would like to throw it back to them also. It's because these players, this group of players are smart. They know what we're talking about. They know that what we're trying to tell them to help them with their game. So they're also conscientious and disciplined. So we tell them something, they readily and understand it right away, and then they do it diligently. So, ano yan, it's just like having a system in place, no? We tell them that this is what you need to do. You need this for your game, and then they would do it without question. No? As Doc mentioned, yung trust nandun eh. We trust them that they will be disciplined enough to do it even without us being on their tail every time. No? And then also because they are intelligent players. They know they need it. They know it's important for the game. So every day before they go up to the gym and do shooting or warm up for the practice, you would always first hit the gym downstairs at the Reyes gym. No? So we had a program for them, and they would always do that. They were a stickler to the program. So hindi kami nagkaroon ng problema sa part.
Kahit kay Bong?
Yes, even Bong. Bong would sometimes, the problem with Bong is the early morning conditioning schedule. No? He would really bitch about the time. But then, credit to Bong, kahit ano ipagawa mo dyan, gagawin yan. There was one session where we were going overtime, just a bit, a little overtime, and then he was already in shape. But the thing is, we know each other, you know. Yung mga idiosyncrasies tayo eh. Some players would be like Bong would bitch about the time, but then they would do everything you ask them to do. Period.
Well, you know, the thing with Bong is,
yes, coach.
I was just going to say, the thing with Bong, he was always a complainer. He always complained. You know, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. His eyebrows would come together, and we're like, oh, nobody get around Joe Bong. But
yes, coach. He would still do it.
And then he would complain. Then he would go out and he would do it, and he would do it better than anybody.
Yes.
And he'd still complain, but he would still do it too. I mean, he would do it hard. And then he would complain afterwards. But he was, you know, that was just his MO. It was, but he did it. And he did it as better than anybody else did it when it came time to do it.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. So knowing Bong, they would just let him, you know, complain about things and ignore him because we know that he will
just ignore him.
Do things. All of it, all of your the things you ask him to do, he will do it. So
when we were going over for practice, he starts yelling, "Overtime! We're in overtime now! Overtime!"
It's 1 minute after.
1 minute after overtime practice. Overtime.
Go Mago.
With all of the success you guys enjoyed in the 90s, of course, winning the Grand Slam and the other championships surrounding the Grand Slam, even surrendering another Grand Slam in '98 when you guys did the Centennial team. All the fans of all the other teams basically hated your guts. Any message for everybody else who really tried and lost a lot of money too, betting against you guys during that time?
Well, I know when I was just last back in November, I now see the appreciation now that we're not playing anymore, you know, and now that we're not beating their teams. I've never felt so much appreciation from other fans that were other teams' fans than when I went back in November and got to spend time in Manila. But it's a lot of like, oh my God, I was a Ginebra fan or I was a Pure Foods fan and I hated your team back then. But man, I respect the way you guys played and how good you were. So it's kind of cool now going back. But back then, I remember during the Grand Slam, I was going to take a trip out of town. I was telling Tim the other day, I was going out of town, and there was two guys at the airport, and they were like, "Pare, Sino Chambers," right? So they call me Chambers, and the guy goes, "Ayoko mo si Chambers, ayoko mo Alaska, malaki ulu talaga pare." And so I go, "No, sinabi mo." So the guy, I understand Tagalog. And the guy was pointing at the other guy like he's the one who said it. So that was one of my favorite stories of all time. But once we started, when we were winning, of course, if you were a Never fan or Pure Foods or Sun Kids, we were, Shell, San Miguel, we were on top of the game and we were dominating the league at the time. So people didn't really like us unless you're an Alaska fan. But now that we're older, the appreciation is incredible once I went back. I mean, it was incredible to speak to the Never fans and, go through the mall and see people that were with San Miguel. That the much love that we get now is the respect. And one thing about the Filipino people, if you win the right way, you play the right way, and you respect the game, you respect the culture, they're going to love you back 10 times plus, even if they're not Alaska fans.
Coach Jeff, it's clear from just this Zoom meeting that there were a lot of very strong personalities in that squad. Were there times that you had to overcome some friction? Were there challenges with personnel, something like that you had to battle through to become a Grand Slam champion?
I wouldn't say personnel or issues amongst ourselves. I think, again, what was nice about our team is roles were clear. So,
right.
We may have to make sure that Sean and Jojo get the 20 shots. We got to make sure that Bong, is also given his opportunities, or you understand your rotation.
Pushing my role there.
You understand?
I was trying to make you better for off you, so you can take that jump shot. So I wanted to make you better.
I know, no, I appreciate that. And then Bong making sure we're all on the same page, especially defensively. The only time Bong yelled at me is when I made a mistake defensively. So you could kind of see there, the leadership that we have from everywhere. And then Johnny would just, he'll come sit, he'll hug you, while he's telling you or correcting you and trying to help you. But again, we all knew what we needed to do. It's never easy, but understanding, our position and playing it to the best of our abilities is really what was crucial.
So Jun, you were one of the veterans.
Chime in on that?
Go ahead.
So I'll go down the list. June, we're always like happy-go-lucky jokester. I mean, they should have been comedians more than basketball players. But no matter what, June always had a joke. No matter what, June was gonna say something that was crazy. Okay, Jeff was like the great competitor, but the nicest guy, but he was going to give you all he had, but he's still the nicest guy in the world. Just nice. Bong, don't mess with Bong on Saturday morning in practice. Let Bong have his moment because he doesn't like waking up in morning practice or 2-day practice. But Bong was going to go to battle for you no matter what. Jojo was our, no doubt about it, our leader. He was our spiritual leader. He was our vocal leader. We followed what Jojo says and how he did it, and everybody's little brother. We all picked on Poch, but we couldn't be successful without Poch. I saw some game tapes recently of Poch. I just sent him a message the other day. Go, Poch, you were incredible. When I really watched some of these games and see what you brought to the table, you're absolutely amazing. And you took us to another level when I watched some of the games and go back and see what we did before. Johnny, by far the most gifted guy I've ever seen play basketball that I've ever played with. Yep. And my job was just to kind of keep it all together with Ruel Gomez, great teammate, one of my favorite teammates, Chris Bellotto, one of my favorite teammates, the guys that didn't play. They were the best guys to hang around. And then, who am I missing? Mr. Back, Dickey. They were great teammates. And so in order to have success, you have to put all that together the right way. You can't have all these different personalities. It all has to come together. And so that's how I thought all our personalities went together well.
Sir Jun, you were one of the veterans in that squad. Were you, surprised that, the younger players actually develop rather quickly to make sure that you would win the Grand Slam in 96? Ang daming bata dun sa team na yon, but it all came together for you.
Yeah, it was very surprising actually, because they were the new guys, but then in the end, they were one of the players that we really relied on, and they were big contributors to the Grand Slam. So they were perfect fits. I don't know how Tim does it or how Fred does it, but whoever they get, it's a perfect fit. So it's such an easy transition from the first conference to second to third, because every puzzle that was taken it fit perfectly. So new guys, veterans, doesn't matter. Like Tim always said, it doesn't matter who makes the basket as long as Alaska makes the basket. So it really didn't matter to us, I just all of a sudden remember that line. So doesn't matter who takes the credit, but rookie, sophomore, veteran, it's all good.
If people want to find the parallel between us and the Bulls, I think that what separated us was different from Chicago. The Bulls had a lot of really disparate personalities, with Rodman and such, and Michael being the alpha male, and Scotty feeling bad about his contract all the time. There was a lot of that went on in that group. Honestly, with this group, like Jeff was saying, I just never really saw that with this group. I mean, I'm not saying everybody was happy all the time, but we didn't have the big issues that you hear about on other teams. And again, I think because what Jeff was saying with the roles, the idea of the roles and the culture of the family that Fred brought. And I also thought that Johnny, who's not here, represented us very well. I mean, he was the guy that kind of kept everybody, he was kind of, I remember going into a room one time, it was like an exit meeting, and I went into a room one time with Johnny, and I said, Johnny, you're the one guy I feel I never had to coach. And Johnny looked at me with these hound dog eyes and said, well, coach, everybody needs to be coached sometime. And I was like what? Johnny needs to be coached? But he told me that. But I mean, honestly, he was the one guy I just felt didn't need to be coached. He just got along with everybody, just did everything right. I mean, he rarely made mistakes, followed game plans to the T. I mean, just an incredible competitor, but super nice guy. And I think that kind of represented everybody on the basketball team.
Gentlemen, we thank you so much for your time, for taking this call and making sure that we get to see you all together once again. But before we end this broadcast, I just want to go around the room one last time and ask for a message for the people who supported you back in the day in 1996 and your supporters now. Let's start with Sir Merwin. I think you were preparing something earlier. Parang may props na hawak ka, Sir Merwin.
No, just to show you guys. I don't know if the other guys has that, but they're gonna be jealous. I got here the 1994 net, and really? I got here the Grand Slam net
too.
Okay. Yeah, so I got this too, which you guys doesn't have. Why do I have this? Because you guys cannot go up to the rim.
You had the long arms.
So I took both of them. I got the Grand Slam net right here.
You can sell that. You can sell that now.
Yeah. So thank you. Siyempre, thank you sa lahat ng mga fans up to now here in Canada. Every time I go out, I think mas marami ang Alaska rito kaysa sa mga Ginebra. I talked to them and they were amazed of Alaska, especially Coach Tim. You are always been mentioned here. For me, you're a great motivator. And we always compare Alaska lagi sa Bulls. And they really love Alaska. Pati yung yung style ng laro nila. That's why here in Canada, mas marami pa rin ng Alaska kaysa sa mga other teams ng mga fans. So I really thank you for them until now.
Thanks, Merv.
Poch?
thank you sa mga Alaskans. Dati pa ngayon, friends ko rin sila, hindi ako makapaniwala. They still support the team. Okay, and of course, lahat ng nandito sila, coach team, all the players, thank you. If not for you guys, wala siguro ako dito. You've been pushing me to be better every game, every practice. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Yun lang.
Sir Bong?
Ako ba?
Yes, sir.
I just want to thank you, Carlo, and guys, nice to see you. Kahit sa computer lang. I hope we'll see you again after this lockdown. And ano ba? Thank you sa mga fans and just stay home, stay safe. Lilipas din to yung sitwasyon natin.
Sir Jun?
Thank you again to the fans. Without you, of course, wala rin yung mga players. Thank you for all the support. Also to the organizers of this meeting, the hosts. Thank you for putting it together, and I've missed these guys so much. It's nice to see them again, especially Bong, Jeff, Doc, and Gus, because the others I've seen once or twice. I've seen Tim, Jojo, Merwin. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Sean, visit me sometime, okay?
Yes.
All right.
My
Thanks.
drinking partner.
Yes, sir. Cheers.
Ano pala yun?
Sean?
11 a.m. here, dude.
Sir Sean, a message for the fans.
Man, maraming salamat po to all the fans of Alaska, and thank you all for so much love and support during my career there. I'm always so grateful that God has sent me there. I'm grateful to my brothers. You know, I love these guys like my brothers, to the moon and back. Big thanks to Coach Tim for always believing in me, bringing me back every year. And we have to give a shout out to Mr. Witintu for always putting it together. We're making sure that we all play with integrity. You know, good enough never is. Doc soon, Master Gus. I wouldn't be here without you guys. You guys are my brothers. They kept me healthy, especially that game 2 in the championship against Ginebra. And I miss you guys. June, Jojo, my brother. Love you, Jeff. We'll see you guys soon.
Sir Jolas?
The fans, the Alaska loyalists, I'm a big witness on that, because siguro amongst you guys, I've had a few more opportunities to go abroad and play these Legends game. And Jeff and I were together a few years ago in New Zealand, and there's always this the fans there abroad in the US, Australia, Canada. Merwin was saying that those are the Filipinos that left the country in the 90s, and when we played Legends games abroad, they're always there, and their support is they always want to go back to the time that they were here in the Philippines experiencing the Alaska days, and it brings back a lot of memories, and those fans are incredible, and you should experience that. So Jeff and I had an experience with that in New Zealand, and the Filipinos there, Jeff, remember before, grabe yung mga Filipino there. They remember those times back in the day, and I think those were the memories that from the Philippines that they brought with them when they're abroad. And also you guys, our group before, whether you like it or not, it's something that we kept us together like brothers, and it is a shared memory to all of us. And kahit na up to the end, when we grow old and probably die, we know that somehow we're already linked together because of those experiences. So it's an experience that you guys are gonna remember for the rest of your life, and it's the same for me. So we're always gonna be linked together, from Coach Tim to Coach Joel, Coach Arik, who's gone now, to Gus, Mike, Doc,
everyone, sila Mang Tom, and even Waki, sila Fred, all those guys who were involved in the 90s, we're gonna be linked forever.
Thanks,
Very
Coach
nice.
Nicolas. Coach Tim?
John Phillips.
Who, me?
Yes, Coach.
Oh, well, you know, I look back on those Alaska days, and those were the best. I mean, they truly were. You know, we won some championships since then, but that team in '96, I've always said was the most special team I've been around. Special group of players. So I'll look at the little puppy dog on Bong. But you know, and back then the fans were always so loyal to us, and have stayed loyal to me. Even though I've left Alaska, they've still stayed loyal to me, and I really truly appreciated my time there, working with these guys, working with Waki, and working with Fred. It was the best of times.
And of course, last but not the least, Coach Jeff. First, thank you for setting this call. We reached out to you and you got everyone together, so thank you very much for that. And you're in a very unique situation because you were part of the Grand Slam team, and now another perspective as the head coach of the Alaska Aces. Just a message to your fans back then and all of your current fans for Alaska, Coach.
Like you said, Carlo, I'm still blessed to be part of the franchise and the organization that we've been talking about, since day one for me. I know, from experience now, just still talking to people to come to practice and games, that their support and their love is still there. And that's really remarkable. We appreciate them. What's really interesting that I like to share quickly is how we played before. And I know a couple guys mentioned how Boss Fred would lead us in regards to playing the right way and winning the right way, and integrity and discipline's always used. What's pretty interesting, and there's a lot of fans out there who understand that culture, and they also, in their own way, kind of live by that. And I think that's a tremendous thing that not a lot of people discuss. We're able to play a certain way and live by certain rules, and that's kind of rubbing off to other people. So I think we all can be part of that. Everyone on this panel, all my teammates, again, you guys are all very special to me. You've done a lot in my career as a player and currently as a coach. So I appreciate you all. Let's continue to stay in touch. I think that's something really special. And if I just quickly, guys, sorry, but a quick shout out to my cousin Joel Cariaso, who's in San Francisco. Appreciate you. Yeah, that's all.
And on that note, we will end this special Alaska 1996 reunion broadcast here on 2OT. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you guys soon. Stay safe and stay healthy out there. Thank you, everyone.
See you guys.
Guys.
Thanks, everyone.